Good day. Goeiedag, fellow South Africans. Yeah, it's the old fart again. I just got reminded by some African commentator. An old fart. Just live with it, okay? I'm not going anywhere. Now, I've viewed this video that I'm attaching here a couple of weeks ago. But with what's happened in the last few days with the BLF and these comments that have been made in these situations where he's talking to all his followers, I've decided that the time is right now to actually attach this video to my intro. And I want to attach a poll down below so that whether you're from South Africa or whether you're from Timbuktu or whether you're from the United States of America, you can put in your vote. And it's a simple yes or no. Okay, let me tell you about the video that's following. This is CNN in America reporting on what's going on in South Africa, and they're talking about extremist right-wing organizations causing absolute dread about what's going on in South Africa, as if nothing is happening. Okay, so that's the basis of it, and they talk about Sakelanders and they talk about AfriForum as extreme right-wing organizations. Now, you know my views on this. CNN, or the fake news network, as Trump so correctly calls them, have a simple narrative in mind, and that is to ignore anything where black on white violence happens. But if something that is so minimally racist, like the use of the K word, that becomes their huge narrative on international TV stations around the world. So, white on black, bang, you got a story. Black on white, don't talk about it. Now, what I'm going to do is I will just attach the CNN video, and the poll question is quite simply, are the whites in South Africa facing a genocide? And remember, this poll has been taken despite the cover-up of what's actually going on in South Africa by the mainstream media and fake news organizations like CNN, because it does not suit their globalist narrative. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Please participate in the poll, and have a great day. Bye for now.
The Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Even in its bloody aftermath, a young woman killed by a neo-Nazi, President Trump refused to pick sides.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
Facing mounting criticism, the president would eventually condemn hate groups, but not before his initial comments were echoed by white supremacists globally.
How these people, these right-wingers in the USA, restrain themselves in the face of such antagonism, I really don't know.
That's an audio message from a South African sent from Charlottesville back home to his followers. This photo places Simon Roche at the scene. Surrounded by Nazi flags, he's in the corner, wearing a hard hat. But what was he doing there in the first place? This Simon Roche character, what is he up to in the US?
American white supremacists, they support Roche because they have a long fixation on South Africa as a possible model.
That's the voice of the Anti-Defamation League's Carla Hill. She didn't want to show her face because she actively tracks hate groups. She also monitored Roche's 6-month trip through the US.
One way or the other, the time is now for you, white men, to arise.
During his time touring the United States, he was welcomed by a cross-section of American white supremacists.
and he took to the alt-right media for support.
Help us to continue to fight the good fight.
A constant theme.
We represent the white people of South Africa who are presently being told that they can expect to see a genocide.
It's a favorite refrain of the far right, an impending white genocide in South Africa.
Absolute power all of the time.
Proven by what they claim is an epidemic of politically motivated farm murders. A false narrative that flows unabated online, in videos, in chat rooms, on far-right websites, and increasingly in the mainstream.
There it was, a tweet from left field. I've asked Secretary of State Pompeo to closely study the South Africa land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killing of farmers.
Also making his visit to the US was another South African, to the left of National Security Advisor John Bolton. Ernst Roeth's organization, AfriForum, fashions itself as a minority civil rights group, the minority being whites. Listen closely to his message on Fox News, a segment that aired before President Trump's tweet on the issue.
Intentional campaign to crush a racial minority within your country, and the government seems on board with it. Is that an overstatement?
Well, what the book is about is it's about government complicity in the scourge of farm attacks and farm murders that we've seen in South Africa.
Now, listen to the facts. Relative to murders in South Africa, there isn't some epidemic of farm murders.
So it's around 64 murders on farms compared to over 20,000 murders taking place nationally. Universally, they find that the motivation is robbery.
It's not really, at the end of the day about any kinds of facts or data. It's about a myth that's been created. But of course, you have to sell that narrative. You want to be the victim, right? You don't want to be the aggressor. You get no sympathy.
Heidi Bayrick directs the intelligence unit of the Southern Poverty Law Center, monitoring scores of hate groups.
Once Trump put out that tweet, attention was drawn to this theory of white South African farmers under attack and being genocided in a way that had never happened before.
And it's already translating into more than just rhetoric, as we found out when we joined Roche and his group, the Saitlanders, on a remote farm in South Africa. The group is actively monitored by South African security services, in part, says an intelligence source, because it displays the same tendencies as terrorist organizations in recruitment of new members as they prepare for an all-out race war. What does it feel like for you to have your family here hiding in the bushes if this was a real-world situation?
Well, it would be very disturbing, but if you're prepared for it, it's not that bad. And make sure that we are ready for when the anarchy really breaks out.
It's a drill, of course. Here, ketchup replaces real blood.
All right, paramedic.
But make no mistake, the Saitlanders are deadly serious about their founder's doomsday prophecy.
We are preparing for a storm, like the canary in the coal mine, of the same anxieties and distresses that are being experienced in Western Europe and in the USA. There is a pervasive sense amongst certain sectors of historically white societies that those societies are being diluted on other people's terms.
But see, when you use a term like diluted, I think Nazism, I think eugenics, I think all of these horrible things from the past.
No,
Why is
David.
being diluted a problem?
That's neurotic. The societies are, in demographic terms, being diluted.
It's certainly concerning because the young are needed to make a movement grow, and that is exactly what's happening.
It's a dangerous mix, and a warning of what can happen when extremes dominate a debate and reason gives way to fear. David Mackenzie, CNN, near Welkom, South Africa.